Are we live? Is this mic on? Is this mic on? Let me see if y'all can hear me and hear me clearly, but let's get into the intro. What up, people? It's your boy, the host with the most, your host and moderator. Welcome to another fabulous episode of Just My Opinion podcast. How y'all living? I'm living swell. Feel free to hit the subscription button, the notification bell, share this live stream with your friends, family, as well as your followers. Let's get this YouTube algorithm lit in the YouTube algorithm. I got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to be talking about part two to Jeanie Buss, Laker Nation, LeBron James, Maverick Carter, Rich Paul, the whole entire peanut gang over there. We're gonna put them to the side, but we do have some breaking news. Breaking news. This just came down the news wire. You know it's hot when TMZ reports it. When TMZ reports it, they know drama. They know more drama than TBS or TNT. Yeah, it's TNT. They definitely know drama, TMZ. So, before we get in to this video and the latest news concerning Corey Holcomb, before we get into this, I first like to say this before we get into it. I'm not a huge, big-time fan of Corey Holcomb and Anton Daniels. I feel like these two guys are clowns, and there's levels to it when it comes to clowns. I think Anton Daniels panders to the left wingers out there, the Republicans. Now, he's a proud Republican. That's fine and dandy, but there's a lot of stuff. He's a gaslighter. He says things, he throw it out in the atmosphere, expecting responses, what Corey Holcomb gave to him last week. And I'm not a huge fan of Corey Holcomb either. I think Corey Holcomb, has not grown up. This man is pushing 60. He's out here acting like a thug. He did his best interpretation of Pinky, though, when him and Anton Daniels clashed on that 5150 podcast. Say it again. Say it again. I dare you. I double dare you. I triple dare you. Really? That's what guys do? That's what men do? Is this what men do? Daring somebody to knock the chip off your block, off your shoulder, when he's already done said it, okay? But we're not going to get into none of that stuff. I'm going to do a quick rundown. And also, the another thing I don't like about Corey Holcomb, because life imitates art when you talk about comedians. And Corey's track record, his history on how he treats his employees, how he treats women, it goes hand in hand, okay? If you're very disrespectful to women, if you're very disrespectful to your co-workers, that tells a lot about you. I know a lot of people out there, particularly in the black community. I know, we like to support, everybody, everything, and everyone, this, that, and the third. And we like to call someone a coon. We like to call someone a buck dancer. But when we actually labeling people that we hold to the highest regard, which is Corey Holcomb, no one never calls Corey Holcomb a woman beater. No one never calls Corey Holcomb someone who has never grown up. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. Nobody don't want to tell the truth about Corey Holcomb. And that's fine and dandy, okay? I'm not here to, pledge your allegiance to somebody else, but I'm just here to let you know, let the record speak for itself. That's just some clown behavior from Corey Holcomb and Anton Daniels, okay? So let's just get into it. Let's do a quick rundown on this. So basically, last week, I believe it was last week, 5150, Corey Holcomb was either interviewing, debating, or being entertaining to Anton Daniels. That old adage, oil and water don't mix. I have no idea why Corey Holcomb welcome the services of Anton Daniels on the 5150 podcast. Okay, I don't know what was going on. These two clearly on two opposite sides of the globe when it comes to their opinions. I can understand if someone wants to interview Anton Daniels and they're on opposite ends on the spectrum with issues, with social issues and things of that nature. But you have to be a little mature. You have to also understand when you're interviewing Anton Daniels or debating Anton Daniels, he tries to bait you. So it's chess, not checkers. So you have to be very careful how you move around Anton Daniels when it comes to a debate, argument, conversation, interview. I don't care how y'all label it. I'm just throwing the labels out there. I'm just throwing the names out there. Okay, so basically, they got into it last week. I'm not going to go all the way in. Basically, I'm going to just go to the tail end of it. Corey Holcomb said that Anton Daniels kisses the white ass of white people. All right. And then Anton Daniels responds, oh, yeah? Well, you suck the black cock of the black community. All right. Now, I'm going to pause it right there. Pause on both levels. Pause. Okay. I'm going to say this for the record. I feel like both of these guys pander to their community. Okay. Fans of Anton Daniels know what they expect from Anton Daniels. That's why there's no surprise. I didn't know he was like that way. That's why he has a huge community backing him. And likewise with Corey Holcomb. Corey Holcomb has a community that backs him on whatever he says, whatever he does. Remember, this is the same Corey Holcomb that went on his own podcast, disrespected his baby mama, disrespected his daughter. Now, I know there's going to be some immature people in the comment section and also in the live saying, well, they started it first. They talked about him. And, sometimes you have to be the bigger person. And particularly people that has the most to lose are the biggest people. They sort of walk away from situations. They don't discuss situations. They just keep it pushing, keep it moving, keep doing their thing. But somehow in the black community, you have to be disrespectful. I'm not saying everyone in the black community feel this way, but I do feel like there's a large percentage of people out there that feel like you have to be disrespectful no matter who it is. It could be your own mama. Just be disrespectful. And then it's kind of crazy, and I don't want to get too political on it. It's kind of crazy how we in the black community demands respect from the president. We demand respect from the Republican Party, the Democrat Party. We demand respect from our own community. But when it's time for you to return the favor, you show no mercy when it comes to respect. You have no respect, no integrity. You just don't move that way. Okay. So it's kind of crazy how you demanding respect, but you don't give respect. But that's neither here nor there. Now, they got into it. And, Corey got into his face. Yeah, Corey got into his face. If y'all want to give Corey brownie points for walking in his face, that's cool. Anton Daniels did get up and say, like, hey, let's go outside. He did say that. If you want to give Anton Daniels brownie points for that, that's cool. I knew when it first went off, neither one of them are going to fight because neither one of them don't want to face the consequences that happens from fighting. These two guys have a lot to lose. Anton Daniels knew that when he said when he told Corey he sucked the black cock from the black community. He wanted to bait him. Okay. Anton Daniels knew then he did not want to fight Corey Holcomb. Now, Corey Holcomb, it took him a minute, but when Corey Holcomb got up and started got into Anton Daniels' face, he started to realize, wait a minute, this can totally go left. You already got a lawsuit with Aaron Spears when Zoe punched Aaron Spears on your own podcast. You have a pending litigation with this female comedian that you assaulted, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. So I'm pretty sure Corey Holcomb, said, "Hey, look, I already got these issues. I don't need any more litigation, particularly from an Anton Daniels." And he probably came to his senses and said, "Hey, look, this man's trying to bait me into saying something or doing. He wants me to do something." Okay. And before we get into it, I like to say this. This is the game of life is chess, not checkers. And Corey Holcomb, for the longest, has been playing checkers. All right. He's been playing checkers his whole life. And I think he's coming to the realization that no. Life is chess. It's not about the move that you make. It's about the move that you're about to make. Okay. So we're about to get into this. Okay. So they got into it, and as Anton Daniels apologized, even though I felt like that was a fake apology, but that's just my opinion. And they tried to move on. Corey couldn't move on because Corey's still steaming from what Anton Daniels said about him. Okay, and Corey Holcomb's like a child, kick him off his podcast, just get him out of here. Okay, so. For first and foremost, I didn't understand why they had why they was going to do a collaboration interview anyway, because these two guys are on totally two opposite sides of the totem pole. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. That's just my opinion. All right. So, Corey Holcomb, Anton Daniels did do a live and address the issue. Now, Anton Daniels did insult him, but he insulted him in a manner that we are customarily see with left wingers and right wingers. They talk about your intellect. They talk about how you can't carry a conversation. They talk about you really don't know what you're talking about. They talk about how and he even talked about it. And I felt like Corey looked so stupid by saying this. Corey said that we need to change the politics, which is cool. I agree with Corey, but then he turns around and says, "But we should not vote." Okay, how are you gonna fix something if you don't want to take part in trying to address it to fix it? Okay, now he thinks voting is a scam. I feel like now, if you don't want to vote for the president, that's fine and dandy, but you should vote for your Senate. You should vote for the people that's representing your community, your city, your state. Okay. So it's very important to vote for these people, because if you don't vote for the people that addresses your needs, then how are you going to get your needs across? Okay. So, unfortunately, is it a crooked system? Yes, it's a crooked system. But is it going to change anytime soon? No. Sometimes you got to play the game. Don't let the game play you. And when Corey said that, he looked totally childish. He looked totally foolish saying that on 5150. And Anton Daniels, said it on his live stream. Now, Anton Daniels did not disrespect his family. Anton Daniels did not disrespect his daughter. Anton Daniels did not disrespect anybody on the 5150. Okay. And he just kept it professional, basically calling Corey an imbecile. He basically called Corey an imbecile, which Corey is an imbecile. Okay. I don't know why people are so shocked and awe about Corey. Intellect is just not there when it comes to these topics. Now, Corey as entertaining, Corey being funny, Corey is being a comedian. He's on top level with that. But when it comes to social justice, when it comes to things that affect the Black community, when it comes to politics, Corey has no clue whatsoever. I don't even understand why he even go there. Okay, sometimes you should go to your strengths and not to your weaknesses. That is that's weak. That's weak-minded. Okay. So Anton responded, and Anton did what any other person with not the best IQ, not the best intentions, not the best intellect, attacked Anton's daughter, which had nothing to do with this conversation, which had Anton's daughter did not disrespect you, Corey. I don't know why you brought her up. And then you brought up the fact that His wife is ugly. I don't understand why you brought his wife, Anton Daniels' wife, up, but hey, that's your business, okay? He rarely talked about what Anton Daniels said on his podcast. There was just so much material Corey could have used to use against Anton, what he said on his own podcast, the 5150. I think he should have picked his battles. I think Corey should address the things that Anton Daniels said on his own podcast, but he didn't address those things. He was just basically, this was just he was free flowing. This was comedian mode. I'm going to disrespect your daughter. I'm going to disrespect your wife. And I'm going to disrespect you. I'm going to dry snitch on you, saying that you brought your side chick there, which, that made Corey look so bad on so many levels. So, that's what we're doing now as men. We're and to make this even worse, Corey doesn't even have all his facts, and he doesn't even know that's Anton Daniels' side chick. Anton Daniels addressed it. The girl and the wife, Anton Daniels' wife, seemed to know each other because they was both shopping together. Now the Corey community talk about, oh, well, he's a swinger. Okay. Let's just say hypothetically he is a swinger. Let's just say hypothetically that is Anton Daniels' side chick. What the fuck does that have to do with what took place on the 5150? And that's another problem with us as black people. We don't address the issues at hand. We sort of try to insult other people and throw wild narratives and wild speculations and wild lies out there when we're attacking somebody, instead of attacking the person for what they said. Because there was so much material on the cutting room floor Corey Holcomb could have used to attack Anton Daniels, but you have to have the intellect to know this. And I'm sorry, Corey Holcomb is a Neanderthal. He's a caveman. He's an idiot. Okay, he's a 60-year-old man who's still stuck in 1986. Okay, he's one of those guys, and we've seen these guys before. We all have these guys, an old head that thinks he's a YN. Okay. i.e. Jim Jones. If you want a perfect analogy of what Corey Holcomb is, he's Jim Jones, okay? More richer than Jim Jones, more popular than Jim Jones, but he's definitely Jim Jones. He's an old man that refuses to grow up and mature with his age. He wants to be a YN so bad, okay? Because that's the thing. That's the thing. Old guys want to be YNs. Old guys don't want to, hey, look, it's your age, grow with your age, mature with your age. But Corey Holcomb refused to do that. But hey, that's neither here nor there. That's a personal thing. If Corey Holcomb wants to do that, that's fine. Okay. So now we're going to thanks for the likes, guys. Now we're going to fast forward on what just took place in the past 8 to 10 hours. Damn, I'm so sick of hearing about Corey and Anton. Ain't nobody got nothing else to talk about. Hey, look, what I'm about to tell you, people are going to be talking about this. Content creators are going to be talking about this for the next 30 days, okay? So TMT has just released a video, a surveillance video of Corey Holcomb attacking a female. A female that's, Corey Holcomb is twice as tall as this girl, 3 times heavier than this girl. Now, if you look at the video, and I can't show the video because it's on TMZ, Comedy Hype has it as well. You can go check out those YouTube channels for yourself. You can see it for yourself. You can clearly tell the lady was shit-talking Corey Holcomb. And Corey Holcomb was like, there was so much space between Corey Holcomb and this female. And apparently, the lady, I don't know if this is true or not, because there was no volume in this. Apparently, the lady said that Corey Holcomb's mama is a bitch. And that, I guess, threw sparks in Corey Holcomb. Me must defend my mama. You don't talk about my mama. Captain Caveman! Okay, so Corey Holcomb immediately got up in the girl's face. Now I will say this: the girl did point at Corey. I don't know if it touched Corey, but Corey uh, put hands on the girl. Luckily, the girl's boyfriend was there, and he put hands on Corey. Corey didn't want none of those problems, and people were trying to break it up. And the girl. Now they say Corey. This happened a couple of years ago. Corey talked about this. He addressed it on the 5150 podcast. But here's my issue, people. We pick and choose who we want to back. Okay, it's kind of funny when Cassidy was suing Diddy, and she had videotape of Diddy assaulting her, and this was like 6 or 8 years ago. People were like, congratulations, hey, we get this, lock this man up. This took place 2 years ago, and now people are saying, well, that's old news. Corey already addressed it. He just mushed her in the face. You look at the video, that looked more than a mush, okay? And, Corey likes to say that, hey, I got morals and integrity, this, that, and the third. But you're going to attack a female, okay? Female, you're 3 times heavier than this girl. You're twice as tall as this girl. This girl cannot stand a chance on you. Cannot stand a chance. And now people are talking about, well, the police didn't press charges. Well, you don't know what's going behind the scenes. Maybe Corey paid the girl off. Maybe they're still in litigations about this. But this is bad. This is bad for Corey Holcomb. This is extremely bad for Corey Holcomb. And it's just the image of it, okay, and the optics of it. And we in the Black community don't understand, like, when you got so much to lose, you got to tread lightly, okay? First and foremost, Corey Holcomb, as successful as he is, why are you hanging at comedy clubs out there on the street? Just do your show and get the F on out of there. No matter what this person says to you, I don't care if they disrespected your mom. I don't care if they disrespected your kids. You just move accordingly. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, you don't want to be a bitch. You don't want to be a bitch in front of her, so you got to step up for it. You got to defend your mama. To a woman, dude. And it's kind of funny to me, he doesn't keep the same energy. Now, he's willing to willing to assault this woman. Luckily, there was guys around. Imagine if this woman was by herself. Corey Holcomb could have had his way with this woman. Nobody talks about that. But it's kind of funny to me, he's willing to assault this woman, but he didn't want no smoke whatsoever to Anton Daniels. Now, I did say earlier in this live stream, he probably woke up and said, whoa, wait a minute. Shouldn't go this far with this guy, because if this guy sues me, it's bad enough. I got all this other stuff going on. He could have been thinking that way. So I'm just going to assume he was thinking that way. I'm not going to say he punked out or anything. And to be perfectly honest with you, that's not punking out. Walking away is not punking out. It's not, giving the doubt, like, hey, this guy done punked out on Anton Daniels, or Corey punked out on that girl. He should have just smacked her. He should have just smacked her in her mouth. Okay. When you got so much to lose, you got to move accordingly. Corey has a mentality of a street dude. But what Corey don't realize is, Corey, you've been out of the streets many moons, okay? You haven't been to a YN meeting in many moons, okay? You're in the industry now, okay? Your name, it means something, okay? So, you got a lot to lose. Do you see Eddie Murphy hanging on street corners, punching women because they said that your mama a bitch? Okay, all right, whatever. And he just keeps it moving, okay? Chris Rock, okay? Now Chris Rock is a bad example. Chris Rock and the Will Smith thing. Thanks for the thumbs up. I understand why people will say that, but Chris Rock didn't assault Jada Pinkett Smith. He joked about Jada Pinkett Smith, the G.I. Jane joke. It was funny. If you want to say it was distasteful, I can agree with you on that. But does it serve grounds for Will Smith to punch Chris Rock? And look what happened to Will Smith. He had that moment where, he was proud of himself, but look at the damage that happened to Will Smith. Will Smith is not the same person like he was. Will Smith used to control Hollywood. Now Will Smith is an afterthought. People have moved away from Will Smith. A lot of movie projects don't want to do any business with Will Smith. Luckily, Will Smith have a couple of projects under the tuck that he could do remixes on or do sequels on. But for him to do any new IPs or any new projects, he's got a lot of work ahead of him. Now, he is on National Geographic doing Pole to Pole. I think that's a good step in the right direction to show a different side of Will Smith, and he's trying to move past all this stuff. But the damage has already been done, okay? Now, you think Corey Holcomb is going to get a deal from National Geographic? You think Corey Holcomb, Hollywood is already shutting the doors on Corey Holcomb, okay? So all Corey Holcomb had was the 5150, and he was doing comedy shows here and there. There's a lot of comedy shows that will close their doors to Corey Holcomb. Like, hey man, we can't really do business with you because you're radioactive right now, dude. So and like I said earlier, life is chess, it's not checkers. You just can't. You got to think of the move that hasn't been made yet, and I'm not saying now, I'm just speculating. I am speculating this, but this is my speculation. I feel like, thanks for the thumbs up. I feel like Anton Daniels had this in the tuck in the first place, this video, or he knew about this video, and he wanted to bait Corey Holcomb. He wanted to bait Corey Holcomb into an altercation, which they got into an altercation, and now this looks real bad for Corey Holcomb, image wise. Okay, I don't think Corey Holcomb is going to be criminally charged or anything like that, but I do feel like image wise and social media, everyone on social media has a voice, and I just don't think this is a good look for Corey Holcomb. And if I was Corey Holcomb, I would just be moving on to the next thing. Because Anton Daniels has already said that, he insinuated that there may be some litigation between him, Corey Holcombs, and the other guy, the other comedian. Okay. I forgot his name, Craig, I think his name is, Corey Holcombs, this looks bad. I don't care how y'all say or change the narrative, or well, when he told him to say it again, he didn't say it again. Okay, and I said this on a previous video, as a man, I'm not a toy. I'm not a PlayStation. You can't tell me what to say and what not to say. If I already said it, why do I need to say it again? Okay, that's for your entertainment. I don't entertain you. Okay, so but I will say this: it's wrong for Anton Daniels to say that to Corey Holcomb, but at the same time, Corey, it was wrong for you to even open the door for Anton Daniels to say this, because you're the one who said that he kissed white people's ass. Okay, so what you thought? You thought he was just gonna just smile and just giggle about it? Okay, so and Anton Daniels, he's a baiter. He says things. I don't know if he believes it or not. It really doesn't matter if he believes it or not, but he's a baiter. He likes to bait people, and people use their emotions to address the issue instead of using their intellect. And let's all be 1,000% real here. And Corey Holcomb's, it's been many moons since Corey Holcomb used his intellect. Okay, Corey Holcomb has been very successful with being funny. I think Corey Holcomb is a very funny comedian. He has a very successful podcast with the 5150 thing. But to me, I didn't even understand why he even brought Anton Daniels there. Okay. But you know, it is what it is. He welcomed it, he opened the door, and now this video comes out, and now the narrative is no one's talking about, well, he didn't say it again. Now everyone's talking about this video. Now you got Corey Holcomb, diehard Corey Holcomb fans on TMZ as well as Comedy Hype in the comment section trying to say, oh, well, this is an old video. Oh, Corey Holcomb has talked about this many moons ago. This is old news. Well, you know, she shouldn't said that. She shouldn't said that his mama was a bitch. Oh my God. She stuck her finger out. She stuck her finger out. She had her finger this close to his face, so she deserved everything she got from Corey Holcomb. Corey Holcomb should have smacked the fire out of her mouth, okay? And to that, women, I know there's some women that are married to these guys who make these comments, or who are dating these guys who make these comments. Be careful who you associate yourself with, women, because if he's trying to give a pass to Corey Holcomb, saying that it's okay to hit a woman, then what he thinks about you, ladies? What does he actually think about you? If he don't give a shit about Corey Holcomb smacking the taste out of a woman's mouth, what do you think he thinks about you? This is the same guy you lay in bed with, by the way, okay? So you get what you deserve, all right? But hey, look, and there's a couple of people that commented and apologized and didn't agree when they came to a realization, saw the whole video. They say to themselves, okay, I have to step back. I was wrong with my opinions and things of that nature, but hey, it is what it is. So Corey Holcomb's got a lot of explaining to do. If I was Corey Holcomb's legal team, if I ran a PR firm and we got Corey Holcomb, the best thing for Corey Holcomb to do is not address the matter, try to move on from this. And if there's some litigation that has to be addressed, do that in the courtroom, okay? And try to figure out a way to smooth this thing out, okay? Don't be like Shannon Sharp, get on national television and call it a bold-faced lie and call this woman a liar and this, that, and the third. And, you know, Shannon Sharp said, yeah, she's showing a 2-minute clip of me performing actions to this girl, but ask her this when you see her. Why you not going to show the other 14 minutes? Like the whole 14-minute video is going to clear your name, okay? The whole 14-minute video is going to clear your name, all right? Clearly, Shannon Sharp was not thinking. He got fired from ESPN. He lost that $100 million podcast deal, which coincidentally, Charlamagne the God is picking it up. I don't know if that was the podcast deal he was referring to, but he lost a lot of endorsements. He lost a lot of respect. Now he's slowly rebuilding his brand, but his brand has been taking huge hits. Like Club Shay Shay used to get the best of the best, the cream of the crop to interview. Now he's just interviewing people just to be interviewing people. I don't know if I'm watching Club Shay Shay or Funky Friday. He's getting Funky Friday's guest, Cam Newton's show. You know, I feel like the best show Cam Newton has ever had on Funky Friday was Cheyenne Bryant and Lolo Brooks. I feel like those are the best interviews he has had. And not because he was, the best interviewer. It was just the people on the other side that made those episodes popular. But now Club Shay Shay is like another Funky Friday. He's bringing in people like, who the hell is this person? He was in line of getting Obama on Club Shay Shay. That's how big Club Shay Shay was becoming. All right. And for that to happen, all that, now people, hey, man, I can't go on your show, man, because if I go on your show, people going to think I'm co-signing to what you did with that OnlyFans girl, okay? So he's slowly building his portfolio up, but it's taking him time. But that's Shannon Sharp. That's somebody that is actually liked in the sports community. That's somebody that's actually liked on social media. Okay. And hey, look, Shannon Sharp got a checkered board pass. I mean, he's got but no one brings up all that baggage. Everyone brings up how fun and entertaining and funny Shannon Sharp is, and this, that, and the third, and a lot of white people fuck with Shannon Sharp. Corey, how many white people really fuck with you? All right. And you really don't have a lot of people in the black community fucking with you either. Okay. So if you, for some strange reason, disappear, thanks for the thumbs up, no one would give a fuck. No one would honestly give a fuck that, because there's so many other shows that, oh, okay, 5150 gone, no problem. I'll just go watch so and so. I'll go watch this person. I'll go watch that person. Okay. So it is what it is. I feel like Corey should just stay quiet and keep it on the hush hush tip. Don't take it to social media. I think that was the dumbest thing for him to do. Thanks for the thumbs up. That was the dumbest thing for Corey Holcomb to do, is take it on social media. I think you should just address these matters in a professional manner. Let your lawyers do the talking, because you might as well lawyer up. You might as well lawyer up, because this is where we're heading. Because Anton Daniels is definitely putting some litigation charges on you. And now with this girl, if you didn't tie this up, thanks for the thumbs up. If you didn't tie this girl up by paying her off or whatever, this is going to rear its ugly head. Okay, so yeah, so that's all I got. And again, I'm going to say this one more again before we get into the Laker talk. I'm not a huge Anton Daniels supporter. I'm not a huge Corey Holcomb fan. I occasionally watch their content to hear what they say, and sometimes it be off the wall ish, and I just keep it moving. I don't put any validation in what neither one of them say, because I feel like they're just baiters that don't really have the best interest in our community, the black community. Okay, they don't have the best interest. And Corey Holcomb, with his past, his past is going to start coming into the forefront. Because if this video comes out, trust me, a couple of days from now, people are going to be talking about, y'all remember when Corey Holcomb disrespected his baby mama? Y'all remember when Corey Holcomb disrespected his child, his daughter? Do y'all remember when Corey Holcomb did this? Do y'all remember when Corey Holcomb? All this stuff is going to come to the light. And it's going to paint a really ugly picture of Corey Holcomb. Now, is fair or not fair? That's not, me to determine. Okay. But see, sometimes you got to be careful when you open the door to something. You got to expect there's going to be consequences and repercussions when you open the door to something. And I don't think Corey Holcomb's understood that. He understands it now, but it's a little too late. The door is open. You can't shut that door. Okay. So, thanks for the thumbs up. We're going to move on to the next thing. And this is part 2 to my live stream about Jeanie Buss, LeBron James, the Buss family, the LeBron's agency, Rich Paul, LeBron himself. To do a quick rundown, Jeanie Buss released a statement talking about the Lakers, her family, and LeBron James. She's grown. She pretty much has despised LeBron James because of several reasons. Now, I'm going to talk about the biggest reasons. He never took responsibility or accountability of the Russell Westbrook trade. And we all knew that LeBron James was pushing that. And, I've said this, a lot of people said this in the basketball community, like, this is not a good fit. Why would you push for somebody that needs the ball? They can't play off the ball. Now, LeBron can play off the ball to a certain limit, but he also needs the ball too. And you're scratching your head going like, why would you okay this? Thanks for the thumbs up. Why would you okay this? So, Jeanie Buss, he didn't take responsibility for that. He didn't take any accountability for that. Another thing that ticked her off about LeBron James is when they drafted Bronny James, he felt he didn't show no appreciation for that. And to me, that's like, look, the ultimate betrayal. Because I'm gonna tell you why. The Los Angeles Lakers didn't need Bronny James. Bronny James needed the Los Angeles Lakers. Bronny James, ever since he's been drafted and they gave him that max contract, has not lived up to that contract. He has not lived up to that contract. It's been many moons since Bronny James been in the starting lineup. And the only reason why he was in the starting lineup in the first place because LeBron James did have some type of influence and control with the Los Angeles Lakers front office. He had somewhat of an understanding with Jeanie Buss. Jeanie Buss understood the idea that he wanted to play with his son, and she didn't get in the way of that. And it just goes to show that the Lakers put LeBron interest before the Lakers franchise or the Lakers future. They could have drafted anybody else, or they could have traded that pick and got something in return. And they didn't need Bronny James. But they did it because, hey, look, we're going to do LeBron James a solid, and he didn't even feel appreciative about that. Like, Bronny James was that guy, was that dude. He wasn't that guy. He wasn't that dude. And he's not. He's been in the developmental league for the longest. Okay, so that's another thing Jeanie Buss did not like about LeBron James, and she said some other things about LeBron James. Now, LeBron James, after the loss to the Clippers, a reporter asked LeBron James, and LeBron James is sidestepping everything. Like, of course, look, first and foremost, if I'm in LeBron James' shoes, I would sidestep too, because I feel like that's too early to say what you want to say. I think you need to fall back and figure out, because it's not, because with LeBron James, it's not what he says, it's how he says it. Thanks for the thumbs up. And LeBron James, image-wise, has been taking a hit for the past couple of seasons. He no longer has influence and control with the Los Angeles Lakers office. And I knew that was going to go away when they traded for Luka. I don't know why LeBron thought bringing Luka in, things were not going to change. It's going to extremely change. And when they went into the offseason, they got players that fit Luka, that will fit around Luka than LeBron James. So that should tell you that if that don't give him a telltale sign that they're done with you. But here's the final nail in the coffin for LeBron James. They didn't even give him a contract extension. So he exercised his option for another year. And for those out there that think that the Los Angeles Lakers are going to trade LeBron James, even if LeBron James waive his no trade clause, they're not. They're going to stick with LeBron James through the remainder of this season. LeBron James will be off their books, and they'll have so much cap space to add additional talent around Luka. So LeBron James, he also said that when he got there, the Los Angeles Lakers was in a disarray. They haven't, they haven't won anything or won titles since Kobe retired. I will say this, to be 1,000%, I feel like people have selective amnesia about this topic. I mean, this is not an old topic, okay? This is not something old that happened 20 years ago, okay? This is recently happened. When Kobe retired, the Lakers were in what we do now type of mode. And then they hired people seem to forget they hired Magic Johnson. And they did once they hired Magic Johnson, they did so well in the draft, okay? Despite what y'all think, that Alonzo Ball draft was pretty solid. Brandon Ingram, Alex Caruso, There's some other players I don't forgot about, but just those players alone, they had talent on that team. Now, did they have a superstar? No, they did not have a superstar. That was the one thing that they were missing, a superstar. And Magic had to talk to LeBron about coming to the Lakers. Now, depending on what side of the coin, what side of the mattress you are on, are you a LeBron James stan or you just a realist? I feel like a lot of people out there are LeBron James stans. Where else was LeBron James going to go to in that year of free agency? He couldn't go back to Cleveland because that franchise is rebuilding. Plus, I don't think the owner wanted LeBron James anymore. He couldn't go back to the Heat because Pat Riley was definitely not going to take LeBron James. If he goes to New York, a lot of people thought that LeBron was going to go to New York, but he wouldn't even had the opportunity to win a title because it would have took so long for them to build something in New York. Okay, because the Clippers was the basement dwellers. LeBron is not going from free agency to join the Clippers. That was not going to happen. And the Lakers almost got Kawhi Leonard. But when Kawhi found out that they was also getting LeBron James, he said, I'm good, fam. I'm good. Okay. And that's why the Clippers got Kawhi. And I'm pretty sure Kawhi told the franchise, hey, I don't want to play with LeBron James. Okay. So where else was LeBron was going to go, folks? The only place that made sense for LeBron was the Lakers because LeBron was heavily into see, people got reverse amnesia. I mean, people got selective amnesia. LeBron was, in his bag, in his Hollywood bag, he had a production company. He had some movies, he had some television shows, things of that nature. He wanted to get there. And the Lakers, they needed a superstar. Why not? Okay. Worst case scenario, the Lakers sell out and he has some great times there. He stat pads. He get the Kareem record. And even if he didn't win a title, he could hold his head high and say, I already won a title there. I'm just going to retire as a Laker. And then that be that. Okay. That's the worst case scenario, And LeBron, when he went to the Lakers, that first year, they wasn't going anywhere fast. LeBron was in and out of the lineup. He was getting injured. He had that groin injury. Seems like a lot of people forget about the groin injury. People seem to forget about that groin injury that sidelined him most of the season. And they were not going anywhere, okay? And when they went into the offseason, they got Anthony Davis. Now, how did they get Anthony Davis? With a lot of pressure from Rich Paul and that agency for New Orleans to trade Anthony Davis to the Lakers. That was the only place Anthony Davis wanted to go to. They had to give up all those draft picks that they were developing under Magic Johnson. And then that's why Magic Johnson had a disconnect with the front office, and ultimately he left the Lakers, okay? And they got Anthony Davis with LeBron, and that's when things started rolling. And when we had that COVID, we had that short season. We had like a break in between the seasons. A lot of players did not want to come back from the break, including Kawhi. They started playing the remaining games in Orlando. They played the playoffs in Orlando, and they played the finals in Orlando. And a lot of players did not want to be there. LeBron looked at it as this is the best opportunity for us to get a ring, which it was, and they want a ring. Now, people want to call it a bubble ring. Look, man, it's a championship. A championship is a championship. I don't care how you got it. A championship is a championship, okay? So we don't talk about the Spurs when they won the championship on that short season. So while we're talking about the Lakers in that and calling it a bubble ring, it's a championship, okay? And after that, they kept getting blown out. They would get in the playoffs, but they would get blown out, okay? and they were not going anywhere fast. And that's when they traded last year. They traded Anthony Davis for um, Luka, because Dallas didn't want to give Luka a max contract, because at that time Luka was overweight, he was smoking cigars, drinking beer. Luka was not developing. Now, as an offensive scorer, Luka is extremely talented. He's a brilliant mind on the offensive end. However, on the defensive end, he's a sitting chair. He's not going to defend anybody. Now, he did have a defensive play last night, but that's neither here nor there. Okay. And anyway, when they traded for Luka, and I said this on this very same show, that no, despite what y'all think about Nico, that was the best decision for the Dallas Mavericks. I'm going to explain to you guys why. If they would have kept Luka, they would not gotten the version of Luka that the Lakers had last year, where he was slimming down, he stopped drinking, he stopped smoking. He was getting into shape because he wanted to prove to the Lakers that he's worth a max contract. Now, he wasn't going to get a super max contract. If the Dallas Mavericks would have just gave him the super max contract, he would have never progressed. He wouldn't have found no urgency to slim down or anything. Okay, and then he would have count so much hard to their salary cap that they couldn't get anything else. All right, and Nico saw that. He said, "Hey, look, it's look, if we keep Luka, give him a super max, we can't build around Luka no more. Okay, so let's trade Luka. We'll get Anthony Davis. We might look up and get a top pick, which they did, and Kyrie Irving is still injured." So when Kyrie Irving comes back, we'll have Kyrie, we'll have Anthony Davis. We got all these bigs plus that draft pick that we got, and we could probably shake it up in the Western, in the West, on the West side. Okay, now didn't never materialize. Kyrie Irving is still injured. Anthony Davis has been in and out of the lineup, and now they're talking about trading Anthony Davis. Okay, and then Nico lost his job. As he should. But if you look at this, if you be reasonable and look at this, that was the only choice they had to do, was to send Luka to Dallas. I mean, to the Lakers. The Lakers signed him to a max contract, but not a super max contract. They got LeBron for this year. Once LeBron is off the books, they got a lot of money to play with to what? Build around Luka. Now, if Luka would have said, you know what, I don't want the super max, just give me the max contract, which that's kind of foolish for him to say. But let's just say hypothetically, he goes to Nico and the owners of the Dallas Mavericks, say, you know what, don't give me the super max contract, just give me the max contract. Y'all keep that super max money and build around me. Okay, and then we'll have a different argument. But was Luka really going to do that? No. Should he? No. You should get what you earn. If they're going to give you a super max, take the super max. Okay. So I'm not hating on Luka for taking the super max. I'm just telling you that if the Dallas Mavericks would have gave him the super max, it would have been more harder to build around Luka, because Luka had deficiencies on the defensive end. Luka is just a chair on the defensive side of things. So you have to build around Luka, okay? But that's neither here nor there. But I don't understand why LeBron felt that he would have influence, control, and power with the Los Angeles Lakers, when clearly the Los Angeles Lakers are moving in a different direction. And you didn't see none of this, LeBron. You didn't see the Buss family selling it to a new owner for $10 billion. That didn't wake you up? No. Okay. The Luka trade, that didn't wake you up? No. Oh, okay. The Lakers organization, Rich Paul and LeBron James, they don't have a lot of influence there, and a lot of people that's under their umbrella, under their agency, are no longer there. And That didn't wake you up, LeBron? Okay, so, and now when this article comes out, it paints LeBron as this spoiled crybaby, uh, who's not appreciative of what you do for him. They put LeBron James concerns over what's best for the franchise with Russell Westbrook, Bronny James, giving you a max contract, even though you deserve a max contract. But the way how they wrote that in, you could keep your wave, you could have your no wave clause, and you dictate if you want to take another year, which that's what he did. So this is, and where there's smoke, there's fire. To me, where there's smoke, there's fire. I feel like there's going to be more stuff coming out about LeBron James. You're starting to see people freely talk about LeBron James. Now I'm not going to talk about him using steroids or PEDs because that have not been proven. Okay, and I don't feel like that's a discussion. I don't want to talk about that because you know I'm not saying it's true or not true, but what I am saying is, no one's not, I'm not talking about it. Okay. So to me, this year is going to be an experimental year for the Los Angeles Lakers. They're just going to play it out. Don't expect LeBron James to be traded. I told y'all in the beginning of the season, LeBron James is not getting traded. Because if LeBron James get traded, it does not benefit the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, if he had a very good relationship with Jeanie Buss and the new ownership, and they want to do him a solid and say, you know what, we'll trade you to a contending team because you did so much for us. You appreciate what we did for you, this, that, and the third. You hold yourself accountable. You know what? We'll do you a solid. We'll send you to wherever you want to go to, even if it doesn't benefit us. Okay, and that's what Jeanie Buss is referring to. Okay, so there's gonna be more and more news concerning about LeBron James. There's some other things in that article. Jeanie Buss really doesn't have a very good working relationship with her own family members. Okay, and people go, "Oh man, that's sad. You mean there's fighting in the family? Like you don't fight with your family?" Come on, folks, people. People are people at the end of the day. I don't care if you have $1 million, $1 billion, or you have $2. Families operate the same way. You're not going to get along with everybody in your family all the time. All right. So for us to find out that they have family problems, that shouldn't come as no shock nor surprise. Okay. But yeah. That's pretty much it for the Laker news. We'll just have to wait and see what else flies. I done read all the messages. I appreciate the thumbs up. I really do appreciate that. And if anything drops, I will definitely talk about it, and we'll have a conversation about it. So I'm just gonna end it right here. The bulk of this live stream we talked about Anton Daniels and Corey. And I'm gonna say this for the record. I'm gonna say this again. I said it in the beginning. I'm gonna say this again. Okay. I don't agree with a lot of things Anton Daniels and Corey says on their shows and on their platforms. I will say this. Corey as a comedian, I've seen some of his work. It's okay. It's pretty solid. Anton Daniels, I've read a lot of things about Anton Daniels about, building his own community. I particularly in Detroit, I appreciate what Anton Daniels has done on a personal level, but their views are very polarizing, and to me, their views it comes off as you're baiting people to respond, and I'm not cool with people baiting people. And another thing is, to me, how you treat people dictates what type of person you truly are. And this is more so to Corey than to Anton Daniels. I'm not sitting up here and telling y'all Anton Daniels is squeaky clean. I'm not. That's not what I'm telling you. What I am telling you, the things I have heard and seen through various videos and articles, Corey comes off as a very disrespectful person. Okay, and like I said, like I said about the Buss family, everybody, you know, you your family, you're not gonna see things in the right direction with your family. You're gonna have issues with your family. I get that, okay? But when it goes to you're disrespecting your family, that's another thing entirely. I don't. I feel like that's sucker-ish. I feel like that's just low effort and low IQ. You want to, I understand that you have issues with your baby mama. Everyone has issues with their baby mama. I know you have issues with your daughter, your children. Well, your daughter. Everyone has issues with their daughters. Everyone has issues with their kids. Okay. But when you disrespect them, that's another thing entirely. And I know people are gonna say, well, they disrespected him first. Sometimes you have to be the biggest person. The one that has the most to lose, 9 times out of 10, they're the biggest person because they got too much to lose. They're not going to go back and forth on a petty dispute with somebody and taking their stuff on social media. That's not going to happen. Okay. So yeah, that's how I feel about both sides. Particularly that when it was at the 5150, there's a lot of things both of them did that I didn't appreciate it. If they could have reset and started over again, which by the way, I don't understand why Anton Daniels was on that show anyway, because they're so polar opposites. I don't see how that's entertaining. I don't see how that could be comedically funny. I don't see how that could be informational because they're both on both sides of the equator and they have this sense about them like, I'm not changing how I feel or I'm not changing my point. I'm 10 toes down with it. Okay. They come off like that. Okay. It's one thing. It's one thing if you have a debate with somebody and you're so against what they're saying, but after you listen to them, you say to yourself, oh, okay, well, maybe I should change my opinion about that. Or I see the point. I see the clear message in that. Maybe I was wrong there. But you're talking about Corey Holcombs and Anton Daniels. When have y'all ever saw any of their content where they're behaving that way? Or it is what it is. But anyway, I gotta go. I'll talk to you guys later. Appreciate everyone that hit the like button. Appreciate everyone that hit the subscription button. I will see you guys on the next show. Deuces.